you're moving from place to place, place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the Tobago Updates Youth Morning Show, coming to you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. For those of you joining us on our various platforms, I just want to thank you. We have an excellent and well-packed segment for you today. Once again, I'm your host, Luke Trim, and I'm also joined by...
Kaylee Lewis. Good morning, Tobago. Look, how are you feeling this morning? This is a rainy morning.
The weather nearly glued me down to my bed this morning, but you know, I'm feeling good. What about you?
I'm okay. No, I'm not too bad. I'm all right.
So, what's been happening? Well, we already talked about the Black Panther that you duck with. What else? What else has been going on in this space, Kaylee?
Well, you know, World Cup started on Sunday. Very, very exciting matches have been happening. Who are you supporting for the World Cup?
I'm supporting myself. But yesterday in work, you know, I would have put a little, I would have tried a little for Argentina, but my supervisor was there. But me and my brethren, and then we taking the game, and it was a really good game. And you know, in essence, it was a strong first half from the Argentinians, but we saw an early goal from Messi, which was good. But to see in that second half, Kaylee, listen, that the Saudi Arabians, they came out. They come out. It was good. And then current wins, so so you know, we just had to sit there in silence wondering what's gonna happen after. And viewers, listen, I know I like to judge a book by its cover, but Kaylee is a big football fan. So hit me with it, Kaylee, hit me.
No, well, you know, I support England. It was very nice to see the game where England played Iran and they gave them 6. I mean, Rashford, as soon as he came in on the field, score one time. It's like everybody got a chance to score. I mean, even the first game that took place, Qatar and Ecuador, you know, usually the first game in the host country, the country would win the match. But we saw Ecuador gave Qatar was 2 goals, 2 goals to 0. I mean, it was very shocking. A lot of the games, you know, we have the popular teams. France played yesterday. We have games coming up. I think Belgium and Germany supposed to play today. I believe Germany playing Japan today. We also saw the USA and Wales play, and I believe the game drew. I mean, that was very shocking for me because Gareth Bale could not save his team. Imagine Wales let the USA beat them. I mean, that was very shocking for me because, you know, the USA is not a very football-like team. I mean, well, country. Yeah, so, I mean, it's very interesting, you know, the World Cup is going on, everybody's tuning in. It's where, you know, we come together, all the camaraderie. So, yeah, hopefully, hoping for the best with England, my side.
Your side better win, because, you know, I will believe. So what else has been happening in Tobago's space? What has been happening? Is anything happening? I find Tobago quiet these days.
Well, I mean, we have a lot going on in sports as well, with the young persons in Tobago.
Yes, exactly.
A lot of success regarding sport to the young persons in Tobago. So yeah, that's something that's...
And thankfully we have a few of them on set today, so I hope our viewers stay locked in, Kaylee. So viewers, now we're gonna head over to news in 90 seconds with Kaylee Lewis.
Thank you, Luke, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, 23rd November 2022. The Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development engaged 500 people for a cleanup campaign over the next month. The workers were assigned to areas around Tobago that experienced flooding, landslides and other problems associated with recent inclement weather conditions. However, PDP political leader and Assemblyman for Roxborough Argyle, Watson Duke, criticized the move because the employment time was too short. He also questioned the selection of people for the campaign if each electoral district was only allowed to submit 16 names. Staying with infrastructure, the division presented a plan to repair the Bad Rock area in Kendall. It experienced significant landslips, threatening the roadway after adverse weather conditions. The plan will involve extensive construction, road expansion, and erosion control in the area with simultaneous construction of a connector road from Iron Ridge, Zion Hill to Longbed Bell Garden. Based on a preliminary assessment, the possibility of blasting and evacuation of the rock face embankment at Bad Rock is likely. Designs will take place over the next 20 days, followed by construction works lasting approximately 45 days. And nationally, tears flowed as LMCS diver Christopher Boodram took the witness stand at Tuesday's Commission of Inquiry, hearing into the Paria diving tragedy. He and 4 other divers were sucked into a pipeline while they were working on it. Boodram made his way out, but the other 4 men perished. In describing the ordeal, he lamented no one attempted to rescue them during the almost 3 hours he was stuck in the pipeline. When he got out and told everyone around him that the men were still alive, Boodram said rescue attempts were not made. Boodram broke down and said he failed to bring help for his diving buddies and now lives with that guilt. That was your news in 90 seconds. It's back to you, Luke.
Thank you very much, Kaylee. And as per usual, we have a few birthdays today, don't we?
Yes, we do, most definitely.
So to start us off, we want to send a happy birthday out to our minority counselor, Miss Petal Danielle Benoit. A happy birthday to you. Who do we have next, Kaylee?
We also have Miss Diane Richardson, also known as Auntie Diane. So happy birthday to you, coming from your brothers Ray, Elton, Neil, and your sister Paula Salandi, nieces and nephews. Happy birthday, Miss Richardson.
Next on our list, we have Pastor Catherine Arthur Chance. A happy birthday to you, and I hope you enjoy your day today. Who do we have next?
Well, next we have Gail Bacchus. Happy birthday, Gail, going out from the Tobago Updates family.
Next on our list, we have Miss Alison Hosford Burnett. A happy birthday to you. And who do we have last?
Well, I must also say happy birthday to Auntie Ali. Hope she has a wonderful one. We also have Kirsch Ramsey. Happy birthday to you, Kirsch, coming from the Tobago Updates family. You know, we really do hope that you all have an enjoyable day. You'll enjoy the birthday today.
Right, Kaylee. So our viewers are locked in, so allow me to engage a few people on the live. KF Pollard, good morning to you. Travis Moses, Andre Edwards, good morning, good morning. Wayne Clark, Burnell Morris, Humble Bless Strick, Brenda Campbell, good morning to you all, and thank you for joining us this morning. So Kaylee, we had to give them the rundown. So to start us off, we have Abini Taylor, the coach of Bishop's High School's netball team. Then following, we will be bringing on Mervyn McMillan and Zion McMillan, the top goal scorer for Primary School Football League. Next, we have Ryan Stewart and Jalen Carrington. They will be coming to speak about the boys under 12 football. They were the winners. And lastly, we have Wade David, a coach from Whim Anglican Primary School Football team, here to talk about the girls' primary school football tournament, as they were the winners. So viewers, stay locked in. We have a lot for you today. But Kaylee, what we had to tell them to do? Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Is the affordable critical illness plan you need. Cover expenses up to $1 million. Tattoo Life, guaranteed protection.
Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Was a while before Christmas, and all through the land, people was putting away house with very little money in hand. They was painting and cleaning and doing their chores, but I went to hunt for deals at American stores. Deals on living and dining room sets, on fridges and stoves, beds and cabinets, on washers and dryers, small appliances cheap, even TVs and stereos, prices just can't be beat. So let's Christmas together at American stores. After all, what they tell me, anything could be yours.
I want to welcome Assemblyman Joel Sampson, a guy who a lot of us know fondly by Nazi.
The Assistant Secretaries for Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, and Miss Megan Morrison. And the Assistant Secretary in Health, Wellness and Social Protection, Mr. Sonny Craig.
Beneath the surface, we get to hear candid views from every assemblyman, every area representative, every councillor and presiding officer. Their accomplishments, their challenges, and their goals for 2023. Beneath the Surface, weekdays from 8 a.m. on Good Morning Tobago, with Candice Jackson and Chanel Felix, only on Tobago Updates.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, morning.
Good morning, Tobago, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Youth Morning Show. We're still on the topic of sports, and this morning I'm joined by the National Netball League champions. Good morning to you all, and how are you doing this morning?
Buenos dias, I'm doing fine.
Good morning, I'm very well.
Bonjour, I'm very well.
Okay, great. So can you just introduce yourselves?
My name is Adonai Sylvester, the captain of the Under-15 National Netball team in Trinidad and Tobago.
And I am Hope Davidson, captain of the Under-13 Netball team.
And I am Abini Taylor, the assistant coach and manager of the Bishop's High School Netball teams.
Okay, great, wonderful, nice to meet you. So indeed, it's a very proud moment as Tobagonians having attained such a title. Can you tell us what the experience was like?
Well, for me, it was my first time ever experiencing such. I have to say, in the beginning, I was really scared because, you know, we was going to Trinidad for the for the finals. In the end, we came out very successful in both the shooting competition and the netball match.
Yes.
It's a great feeling, very great feeling to be called the national champion team of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
At first, as Adonai said, I was very nervous because, I mean, it's Trinidad. But in the end, we came up very victorious, and we just give thanks.
Oh yes, we give thanks. Being being the teacher and assistant coach with these netballers, they have shown great discipline on and off of the court. These two captains would have captained their team very well to victory both in Tobago and nationally. And I should reiterate, she's a bit, well, extremely humble, I should say. Queese Davidson next to me, the 13 captain, she has been shortlisted to join the national under-16 team for trials for netball. So I know she's probably very panicked right now that I mentioned that, but she's indeed a great player. Adine captained her team very well, and one team that is missing is the under-20 team. They also would have been successful in the netball matches and at the shooting competition. And we had individual shooters who were national champions in the under-13. We had Sahai Oliveri, we had Kimaya Anderson, also shortlisted for the national under-16 team of Trinidad and Tobago. And for the under-15, we had Keiko Roy as the champion shooter of Trinidad and Tobago for under-15. And we also had in that category Akisi Kwashi. And for the under-20, Ariel De Freitas placed in second, because these girls, they have trained, they have sowed their seeds, and they are definitely harvesting and reaping their successes for their hard work.
Okay, wonderful. So in terms of leadership, for you all as captains and, well, for Miss Taylor as the coach, what was that experience like? You know, sometimes you may have persons probably not up to mark, you know, they're not as confident as you feel they should be. What was that like?
Well, so I have an experience with this. In Trinidad, Keiko Roy, the champion shooter,
yes.
Before we went to shoot, she was like, I don't know, shaking her hands. I was like, Keiko, what happened? She was like, I'm kind of scared. That girl tall. I'm like, Keiko, you are tall too. You could do this. I mean, when we were in Tobago, every shot Keiko had attempt, she scored majority. And I personally was not scared for her, but so when I saw her scared, I was kind of worried. I'm like, why is Keiko scared? So for me as a captain, it took an extra notch to encourage her and to keep her at 100% certain that she can do this. So yes, being a captain, it's kind of tough, especially when you are scared too, but you're supposed to be tough and not tough, but up and motivated to keep the team motivated. So being a captain, it was a great experience, a self-development experience for me as well. So I was very grateful for the opportunity of being the captain of this team and being the captain of the champion under-15 team in Trinidad and Tobago.
Awesome.
Yes, wonderful.
For me, it was exciting. I mean, I like being a leader, so it was easy for me. All the girls, you know, they understood that I'm captain, and despite all, like, everyone who was nervous and who was like, we're gonna lose and ting. And it was like, we have this. If we could do it in Tobago, we could do it in Trinidad.
That's right.
So we just had to go with her, you know.
A brave mind.
Wonderful.
Yes. So being the teacher from the school and assistant coach, I used to be a netballer, so I know what it took to motivate the girls and with regard to the organizational skills and to work hand in hand with the division with regard to having the girls involved in the competition. And we also had boys involved, and they were the champions in Tobago, but there wasn't the category for that in Trinidad, so they had not gone to compete nationally. But myself and the main coach, which is Miss Joan Bedlow, aka Ma Joan, everyone knows her as Ma Joan. She has been at Bishop since I was a student in 2003 when I came into Bishops, and she would have definitely stuck with the school through it all. Whether she was paid or not paid, she stuck with us, and working with her and ably assisting her to these girls to the championship, it really is an overwhelming feeling, a feeling of we're so excited, we can't wait for next year, and so many persons want to become part of the Bishops netball team. Well, I should say squads. Yes, but we are very grateful for Mission. We are grateful for our school's management as well as administration, our principal, vice principal, everyone who assisted us and supported the girls. We are all grateful to you all.
Okay, wonderful. I love that you keep mentioning the national champions. I think that's very, very important. And in terms of the future for netball, you are the one who you're shortlisted for She's shortlisted for the national team, right? 16. Well, for the both of you, where do you see yourself in the future regarding netball? Is it something that you want to pursue, or you just have it as a hobby now? Where do you see yourself in the future regarding netball?
Well, as of now, netball is some of a release for me. As I am in fourth form, I have CXC in a few months. It's scary. So I use netball as my hub, my release, my therapy. Yes. But having it as that, I do see myself doing something more with it. Probably trying out for a national team. So yeah, that's it for me.
For me, I was never really into sports, but netball has become one of my favorite hobbies, and I do wish to continue it in the future.
Yes. Awesome.
Okay, wonderful. And Miss Taylor would have mentioned some persons that she will credit for the success of the team. What about the both of you? I mean, aside from school and the division and all like that, who do you want to thank for your success so far?
I would like to thank all the players on my team. Zani Gray, the goalkeeper, who did an excellent job. Michaela, the goal defense, who was given the MVP of throughout the entire tournament. Keiko Roy and Akwisi Koshi, our shooters, our big shooters. Kudos to you all. The center, the wing attack. The center, Savannah Aparicio, also the vice captain of the under-15 team. I would just like to give a shout out to you all. We did it. We are the champions of Trinidad and Tobago. Yes. Kudos to us.
I want to give thanks to our players, all the players, vice captain Anaya Lindo. I want to give thanks to all the teachers, the parents, the coaches that supported us to our victory.
Yes, and as I always tell them, every time we posted our victory, I always post, we give thanks. And of course, to the supernatural being, Father God Jehovah, he would have put us in these positions, because there were times where these girls won by one goal, and we know it's only God and skill that made them pull through. So we want to give thanks to God Jehovah, everyone who have supported the netball teams, friends, family, teachers, loved one, administration, and our maxi drivers. Can't forget them.
Of course not. And I remember you mentioning that you weren't really into sports initially. What motivation would you give to someone who probably isn't into sports, you know, as a professional, I should say, netball player, because you were shortlisted for for the national team? What motivation would you give to someone like that?
If you overthinking on like joining a sport, or you know, I don't like sports, I'm not going to try out, you know. Just give it a try. I don't know if you might like it or not. Whether it's football, volleyball, anything, just try it, and you don't know if you might like it.
Okay, wonderful. So I want to thank you all so much for coming this morning, for chatting with us, for telling Tobago about your amazing experience on the road, or as you would have made your way to become the national netball champions. So I just want to thank you all again so much, viewers. Please remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We're going on a short break and we'll be right back.
Looking hard, I tell them never ever worry. If you're nice, can't be damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tattoo will always be here for you. Tattoo, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Excuse me, Mr. Man. Playground rhymes. That's why I'm bringing back the playground.
Welcome to the March Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonaccord, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Lamarge Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Youth Morning Show. Now, in primary school, we had a beautiful quote that says, "Success comes to us by the will to rise whenever we fall." And on set, we have with us Mervyn Macmillan and Zaire Macmillan from Boko Government Primary School. A special morning to you all, and how are you all doing?
Morning, Tobago.
We're doing good.
All right, good. So, Mervyn, can you introduce yourself to our viewers and what role you play in Boko Government Primary?
Well, good morning, viewers. Well, my name is Mervyn Macmillan. I'm Boko Primary School coach. I'm also Zaire Macmillan's father. We've been through, the school been through a lot during the football season because we didn't have much players, we didn't have much equipment, but we made it a long way during the season.
Okay, what about you, Zaire? Introduce yourself.
My name is Zaire Macmillan. I am 10 years old and I am playing for the under 12 primary school. So.
Okay, good. Now, you would have been highlighted as the top goal scorer for the primary school football league. So how do you feel about that?
I feel accomplished and on how I make goals and always see myself going more distance away.
Good. So training, how is training? Of course, I know your dad is your coach. So how is training to really achieve this feat of scoring so many goals? How is the training process for you?
Mostly, it's simple and easy for me since new students doesn't really know how to play football. So my dad just take it easy, like simple touch, one take and pass. Take and pass, take and pass. Sometimes we warm up, we do a stretch, and yeah, and do lots of drills, to keep us active.
Okay, understood. So, Mr. Macmillan, your experience as a coach, how has the entire season been? How has preparation? And what are your views on the progress of the school thus far?
Well, it was when the Miss asked me to take up the role, I was like, I'll make the effort, because fathers not making the effort, especially in sports, to really go and support the children. So I made the effort to go on Mondays and Thursdays. I'm also the medic for Compre School, the under 19, which we won the school football yesterday, finals, and it's a new experience being a medic, being a coach And I'm really trying my best to be around the kids and give them the support to reach far in football.
Understood. So who did you all play against recently?
In primary school? Our last game was against Signal, which we lost. I know that the guys felt that was semi-final game. But through it all, they realized that is because we played about 4 games. 4 games, yes. We won 3 games and they lost the semi-finals to Signal. But everybody excited now to play football in the school, which is a great thing. And as I told the teacher, I'm there to support. I'm there to give my all to the school in football rights.
Understood. So the school would have attached a beautiful quote to the photos they post, and it would have said, "Great winners are born from strong losers." So with that quote in mind, what plans now do you have to further support the team to really push them? So probably in the next time they play, it will be a victorious match. What do you have in store for the team?
Well, I've started training one time. I was to train yesterday, but we didn't train because of the other engagement to the secondary school. So I'm pushing this team because we want to win the finals next year. We want to make it. So the guys are giving it their all. The parents are giving it their all. Principal is giving it their all. This support of the school is great. So I just hope we continue till the next season.
All right, understood. So Zaire, what plans do you have for next season? What would you like to achieve next season?
I want to win the under 12 youth
and what else?
Primary school and try my best to win the under 15, which we are going to play next year. So it's going to be very difficult for me since I have been working hard and trying to get past, get the ball to my teammates, and it's really difficult for me because a lot of them doesn't really get how fast I'm going. And like for instance, my friend named McKelmy, when I passed him the ball, he always fumbles.
Understood. So seeing that you have more experience than your teammates, how do you plan to really pass on the information you have, the skills you have, so that everybody could be on par with the skills you currently have? How do you plan to help your teammates?
I most likely give them tips, and show them the position of where you shoot, especially Sky. So show the position where you shoot, so you won't shoot over the bar, because if you lean back and shoot the ball, it's going straight over. So once you do that, no goals. So I always like to give them tips.
Understood. So Mr. McMillan, at this moment, is there anybody you would like to thank for supporting you all thus far?
Well, I'd like to thank my family, especially my wife and his brothers and sisters, the teachers of Buko Government School, Coach Tati, Ball Blasters Club, which we are part of, Ball Blasters family, and well, everyone who knows us, they support the cause, they're moving, keep going, keep supporting Zaire. They always encourage us to go forward and aim for the stars. And we are trying to aim for the stars. We want to be the next Dry Talk out of Tobago. We must, as I was telling him, let me be the father to sit down in Old Trafford and wave to some friends home in Tobago. So I want him to reach far, and the encouragement is there and the support is there.
Understood. So I'd like to thank you all for joining us today, and for showing our viewers that even though you may not achieve the goal, you could just keep going, and one day you're gonna get there. So I want to thank you all again for joining us, viewers. That was an excellent segment, motivational. So it's not always about winning, but it's always about the journey. So remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back after this.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment, we are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Exhale Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti served with chokers, buljoil and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
I want to welcome Assemblyman Joel Sampson, a guy who a lot of us know fondly by Nazi.
The Assistant Secretaries for Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, and Miss Megan Morrison. And the Assistant Secretary in Health, Wellness and Social Protection, Mr. Sonny Craig.
Beneath the surface, we get to hear candid views from every assemblyman, every area representative, every councillor and presiding officer. Their accomplishments, their challenges, and their goals for 2023. Beneath the Surface, weekdays from 8 a.m. on Good Morning Tobago with Candice Jackson and Chanel Felix, only on Tobago Updates. Mamai Lakai Home Services. We specialize in cleaning of carpets and rugs, mattresses, living room and dining room sets, vehicle detailing, cleaning and sanitizing of homes and commercial spaces. We also do landscaping and tree cutting, pressure and power washing, floor care, fumigating and air purifying. You can also call us for professional painting services, babysitting and adult sitting. Call us now 333-4430 at Mamai Lakai Home Services. We take cleaning to another level. Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome back, viewers. Staying on the topic of sports. Today I am joined by the Signal Hill Primary School football team and its members. A special morning to you all, and how are you all doing?
Good. Yeah, good morning, good morning.
Okay, so starting from my right and go down, just introduce yourself to our viewers this morning.
My name is Michael James and I'm the Signal Vice Captain, and I wish all the best out there to each and everyone.
My name is Monique James. I just play defense. As play defense. And that is it.
My name is Jalen Carrington. I am 11 years old. I am the school captain of Signal Government Primary School, and I play midfield.
Yeah, well, good morning to everybody. Good morning to Tobago. Good morning to the world. Thanks for having us here. My name is Ryan Stewart, the head coach of Signal Primary School. Proud to be the coach And just want to say thanks for having us here this morning, man.
Okay, good. So you all won the boys under 12 football. So how do you feel about that?
Well, I think it's a huge achievement as a coach and as the young players. I think it's something great for them, especially guys who looking to leave the school because next year they wouldn't be a part of the school. You know, I think it was a real nice accomplishment this season. You know, I really appreciate it.
Good. Tell us who you all played against.
In the final, we play against Whim Anglican. We beat them 7-1, and it was a great to know we beat Whim Anglican 7-1, and they was friendly and nice, and I hope they continue. And
what about you? What were the thoughts going through your head while you all were on the field playing?
I was feeling like we won. We feel good because last year when we was in San Juan, they beat me, and I did not feel good. So I feel happy when we beat them.
Understood. So Jalen, as the captain, how do you feel that your team won? How did you feel when you all got that victory?
Well, I feel very appreciated because we worked hard and achieved the goal to win the boys U12 category.
Okay, understood. Coach, preparation. How was the preparation for these guys? Were there any difficulties you would have met while you were training them for the season?
Nah, well, again, I must say, I will always say this. I commend the youth academies in Tobago because these guys, most of the kids go to academy, most of the children go to different academy, and you know, on the off season they're active with the game. So bringing the team together is just all about tactics, the way we play, you know, get them fit, get them sharp, you know. So it wasn't really that hard for me, knowing the fact that they already playing football, you know. So it wasn't that hard for us.
Okay, understood. Yeah. So earlier we would have brought on the netballers and they would have spoke about how they felt about playing against Trinidad. So in the future, are there any matches we could expect between the boys and any Trinidad school?
Well, we are still waiting on news on what will happen with the boys going down to Trinidad, the teams that qualify to go to Trinidad to play. So far we haven't heard anything, and you know, for me it's gonna be a big disappointment if the guys don't really get to go and play down there, because this is where they prepare for. This is where we pray in our camp, and these where the guys pray for, to go Trinidad to play to win. And whoever is organizing this need to make sure that it come off.
Nice.
You know,
the platform, and most
yeah,
likely
we need to let it come off. We need to let it come off, because to even touch on certain things that take place during the season, it wasn't acceptable, especially the time that they had the kids playing. You know, in that hot sun, 1 o'clock, and her kids falling down and vomiting and things. We had to make sure and structure the football properly, that the health of the kids could be safe. They could be safe. They could enjoy the game of football in good conditions. You know, 2 games a day. What about uniforms? If rainy season, they wet up on uniform, they had to sit down in the wet boxers or the wet underwear to wait for our next game. I don't think that is good enough. I think they need to structure things properly.
Understood.
You know, fix the football properly.
All right, and it's good that you are voicing your concerns, and hopefully it will be adjusted. How do you, in the event you will have to play Trinidad, how do you feel about going up against a Trinidad school?
I feel very good.
What about you?
It feels good because we never get to reach this experience in real life before when you was playing school football.
And Jalen, as captain, are you afraid to go up against a Trinidad school?
No.
Good man, good. Coach, you would have touched that you want to go to Trinidad and so on. I just wanted to talk about the performance of the team. What are some highlights you would have observed training the team for this entire season? What are their strong points?
I think collectively as a team, I think the guys play for each other. You know, the love that they have for each other while playing. You know, the way we warm up. You know, everything was just perfect. There's this guy Kimmy. He was, for me, my player that make things happen for us, because when we come up against teams that have quality players, he's the one that take their players out of the game first to make the game even more free for our players to play. And I have to commend him. He did an excellent job. Likewise, everyone did an excellent job. Our tactics, how we defending, how we pressing. It was beautiful when we had the football and we keep it, make sure that we have plenty touches on the ball. You know, it was nice. I think the guys, everything was good. It was a wonderful season.
Understood. Sounds great. So starting from my right again and going down the road, is there anyone at this time you'd like to thank for supporting you thus far?
Yeah, I want to thank the coaches, Coach Ryan and Coach Julian, we'll call him Daddy. I thank my mommy. I want to thank Coach Tati. I want to thank my brother for supporting me. And I want to thank everybody, my auntie, especially my auntie, because she always there when I need she to support me.
I want to big up my daddy. The most players that help me in the game is Akeem. He puts every good player out of the game till we win. First, I would like to thank God, and then I like to thank Coach Ryan, Coach Julian, the principal, my mommy, my daddy, and the teachers for bringing out the school, for the support and those things.
Yeah, well, I wanna most of all again spiritually we wanna thank God for a wonderful season. Thank Him for life. You know, thank Him that we could afford to be in this environment at this time. You know, I wanna thank Larry Nori for giving me the opportunity to be at Signal Hill Primary School, and also the principal for accepting me and giving me this opportunity. My wife and my kids for the support, the teachers, the parents, our players. I don't know if you could call any of the names of the players, you know. Guys, help me. You know, call them boys and them name, big them up.
Akim, Jaron, Gian,
Legion, yeah, Legion Roberts, Xavier,
Kashif,
Small,
yeah,
Javante Stewart,
yeah,
Jaden Richardson.
You know,
and Jojo.
So many of them. I also want to thank my assistant coach Julian for the support, you know, the encouragement, the motivation. I think having him on my side was beautiful. It have no argument or no miscommunication. Everything, yeah, this how we dealing with, and you know, everything was just smooth, you know. And again, I think people need to start buying in. The authorities need to be buying into the school. I think Signal Hill School is a wonderful school. They do an excellent job. The principal create all the atmospheres for sports on a whole. You know, I will like if the people could come and whoever in charge should come and see the football ground for, you know, help improve it so that the school could be much more comfortable with the way they play, the kids play when the day come, you know.
Understood. So
we really need the authorities to come out and really start looking into the schools that have the area to develop the area, so we don't have to be leaving the school compound every time to go and take part or train or anything. So it's plenty things to talk about, but we need to come out of our comfort zone and try and improve Tobago on a whole.
Nice. I would like to thank you all for joining us on set this morning. It was a really encouraging and great segment. Viewers, that was the Signal Hill football team. It was a really great segment. So we're going to take a break, and remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Was a while before Christmas, and all through the land, people was putting away house with very little money in hand. They was painting and cleaning and doing their chores, but I went to hunt for deals at American American stores. Deals on living and dining room sets, on fridges and stoves, beds and cabinets, on washers and dryers, small appliances cheap, even TVs and stereos, prices just can't be beat. So let's Christmas together at American stores. After all, what they tell me, anything could be yours.
Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
I want to welcome Assemblyman Joel Sampson, a guy who a lot of us know fondly by Nazi.
The Assistant Secretaries for Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, and Miss Megan Morrison. And the Assistant Secretary in Health, Wellness and Social Protection, Mr. Sonny Craig.
Beneath the surface, we get to hear candid views from every assemblyman, every area representative, every councillor and presiding officer. Their accomplishments, their challenges, and their goals for 2023. Beneath the Surface, weekdays from 8 a.m. on Good Morning Tobago, with Candice Jackson and Chanel Felix, only on Tobago Updates.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Excuse me, Mr. Man. Playground rhymes. That's why I'm bringing back the playground rhymes. It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If you're nice, call it damage bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Welcome to Lamarche Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonaccord, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Lamarche Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
Rest Assured helped me to cope with the unexpected, provides financial help for final expenses. Rest Assured, the affordable financial comfort plan. Tattoo Life, guaranteed protection.
Our national borders, our first step to security, but a possible access point for guns, drugs, crime. If it does not look right, do the right thing. Call Crime Stoppers anonymously. 800-8477. Report possible border crime.
Oh God, oh gosh, all you catch me? Well, we know it's the Tobago Carnival weekend. So right now, I winding down low to low discounts at American stores. Remember, anything can be yours at American stores.
Anything can be yours at American stores.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Morning show, and to wrap things up this morning, I'm joined here by the Whim Anglican Primary School posse. Now, their girls football team would have been the winners of the football match, and thankfully we have them on set today. So starting from my far right and come across, introduce yourself please.
My name is Sarisha Hackett. From Whim Anglican Primary School Standard 5.
My name is Sonia Rogers from Whim Anglican Primary School Standard 4.
My name is Sarisha Hackett and I am from the Whim Anglican Primary School and I'm in Standard 4.
My name is Shania McCarthy and I'm the captain of the Whim Anglican Whim AC Sharks under 15 girls team. And I'm from Standard 5.
Alright, I'm Brian Brown. I'm the coach of this girls team. Whim Anglican Sharks.
How about you?
My name is Wade David. I am a teacher of Standard 4 at the Whim Anglican Primary School, and I am one of the assistant managers of the team as well.
My name is Renisha Hurst, and I'm the manager of the girls team at the Whim AC Sharks.
You all are winners. How do you feel to be a winner? How are you feeling?
So excited. I feel magnificent, I feel happy, I feel elated.
I feel fantastic.
What about you, coach? How did you feel when you won?
It felt good. It's always good to win. Alright, it has come with some hard work. Alright, before I go further, let me say thank you all for having us. And of course I greet you in no other name but the name of Jesus Christ. Alright, everybody want to big up their God and what they believe. So I take every opportunity to do the same. Alright, it has come with some challenges, it has come with some definitely hard work. Of course, you're seeing the slogans all over the place. And it's one of my personal, mottos, where hard work has its reward. And the girls have definitely put in some work. And with the help of God and with proper staff and stuff like that, we have come out winners.
Understood. Captain, so being the captain of the football team, how has your experience been holding the team down and motivating them throughout the entire season?
It felt... It felt fantastic to know that I had the strength to become a captain of the Whim AC Sharks.
Great. One next to her. While you were playing on the field, what was going through your head when you was playing the other side? And mention to our viewers who you all played against.
We played against St. Nicholas, RC, St. Patrick's, RC, St. Andrews, a lot of schools. But while I was on the field, I was thinking what to do, where to go. But it came out a victory.
Great. Management. So earlier I would have brought Kaylee on to show the viewers that football is just not a male sport. And as a female manager, how is it managing a female girls team? How is that entire process for you?
It wasn't easy at first because out of this girls team, 18 children tried out, and it's only 16 of them didn't know how to play football. 16 of them did not first time ever play football. And so it was a little difficult, but hard work. So and the heart of these girls, they wanted to win a trophy. They trained hard, and although it was difficult, and we see the end result, they was victorious at the end.
Coach, so management would have just tipped me to know that you had to train 16 girls that did not know how to play football. Yeah. How was that entire process?
It wasn't enjoyable at first. It's frustrating. And we are in a program where we have a history of winning. And we try to do things at a high level, especially with the sports and education and even culture and stuff like that at the school. We try to establish a high standard in what we do. And I do not answer to myself. The principal, Miss Benoit, she and I would have conversations all the time. And regardless of who we put out on the field, the conversation is always along the line of doing well, of the possibility of winning. I do understand that winning is a byproduct of development, right? So if you take time and you develop people, you develop players, eventually you're going to win, right? We have done that over the years. COVID has shut down a lot of programs, a lot of schools. I know we are not isolated. And like Ms. Hur said, 18 girls, only 2 would have played football before. And you had to play 8 on the field at the same time, at a given time. So at any given time, you would have 6 people on the field that pretty much don't know what they're doing. So we have to start from that point. And like Ms. Hur said, the girls, they were hungry to play. They were hungry to win. And they want to train every day. They want to train every minute. You can't go up to school because if you go to 8 o'clock in the morning, they want to train. 4 o'clock in the evening, they want to train. Right? So that made the process a little easier. As we went along, one started to learn, understand the game. So they you would hear the conversations. Don't jumble up too much. Pass the ball. So the football conversation, the football talk started to come out. So, we started from one point and we gradually progressed to being champs. It is not easy. And that is the girls team. But throughout the school, we had 35 children that was playing football. 18 girls, 17 boys. Only 5 played football before.
Wow.
Only 5 in the 35. And the boys lost in the finals. You understand? So they were one step away from doing exactly what the girls did. You understand? Now, it speaks volumes about us and the program that we have, as well as the level of competition that we're facing. It means that we have a good solid program and we understand what it takes to win. But it also means that some other programs need to step up a little bit, because it's not good that you have a school with only 3 good players or 2 good players winning competitions. So ultimately, we want Tobago to move forward. We want players from Tobago to move forward. So the Zaire Macmillans and the Jalen Carringtons and those guys, we want to know that they are good enough to move forward on a national team.
Great.
Yes, so even out of this crop of girls or the crop of boys that we have, we are hoping that one would teach one and one would learn more so that we eventually go on to represent Trinidad and Tobago and beyond.
And that's excellent, and it shows the good sportsmanship that you have, and probably the guild, because very rarely you will hear other schools will want to see other schools win despite of the team. So that's great that you have that sportsmanship. And earlier you would have mentioned that in the initial stages, training these girls that didn't know how to play football wasn't good. So now that you have been seeing their performance, what improvements have you seen in the girls team from when they first started to now?
All right, well, I mentioned a few of them. What you would usually see in a primary school game, in a girls game, is the ball is on that side, everybody on that side. The ball is on this side, everybody piling up on top of the ball. So they are now understanding to maintain their position and play structure and technical parts as in passing the ball and shooting the ball well and stuff like that. Right? So they have improved massively. What is good for us as well is from the boys team that we have, only one guy, one main integral part of the team would leave. In the girls team, maybe 2 or 3 girls. 3 girls will leave. So we have a bulk of the players to work with for another year. You hear Sarisha say she's in standard 4. Sonia is in standard 4. And we have some useful girls in standard 1 and 2. Similar with the boys. So we have a nucleus that we can work with going forward.
That's sweet. Teacher. So what has been your expectative on this entire season thus far?
With regard to this season, we would consider this season a bit miraculous, because where we started from in September, having children who never played, they don't understand the rules of the game, so we had to start from scratch. And, I really must say that this has been a team effort throughout the school, from the principal to the coach, to the assistant manager on my left, to even the support staff at the school who have been helping washing clothes for training and washing the clothes after matches. So this has been a team effort, and this has been the result of it. Because for years we've had success with the boys at our school. But this year, for the first time, our girls are double title holders. So we're really proud, and we want to push them to the fore and to big them up, because we focus on the males in sports usually, but now we see females becoming physical and mental and shining. So we want to encourage that at Whim Anglican.
That is excellent. So starting from my far right again and come across, is there anybody you would like to thank for supporting you throughout this entire season?
Yes, I would like to thank my mother for supporting me through this season. I'd like to thank Miss Hurst and the principal and my teachers and Sir David and my coach for supporting me.
I would like to thank Miss Hurst for encouraging me to join football, and Sir Brown for teaching me, and Sir David to encourage me. I would like to thank you all for encouraging me and making me go football and stuff. Thank you.
I would like to thank my mother, Miss Hurst, for allowing me to go to practice. Sometimes I have classes and I will have to miss classes for training, and my mommy was okay with that. I would like to thank Sir Brown for coaching me and making me push harder. And Sir David for allowing me to miss classes also. And I would also like to thank the boys footballers for assisting us in training.
Yes, for real.
I would like to thank our teammates for coming to training. I would like to thank Miss Hurst for giving us clothes, even though sometimes we wouldn't have any clothes. I would like to thank Sir Brown for coming out to training every day to help us get better. I would like to thank Sir David for washing my clothes.
Coach? Sir David mentioned it, where it's a total team effort. And if you listen to the girls, they would be thanking, parents and teammates and teachers and stuff like that. And it definitely would not happen if we did not have all these pieces in place.
Understood.
All right. Teachers need to understand, like Carissa said, she has to miss a class. You know, mommy would have to give her a little pardon. Some people would have to excuse them sometimes, send them to class. So not everybody will train every single time, because education at the school is massive.
Understood.
You know, and that is the first reason you go to school. You know, and we don't want to take that away from them. So, you know, we have to juggle that as well. But we really want to thank, you know, from Miss Benoit, the principal, down to Sir David and Miss Hurst and all the others. I don't want to miss, I am not the original coach for this team. I am just the head of the football program.
Understood.
I would usually bring in someone, and I brought in my brother. He had to, unfortunately, have a surgery and had to leave partway during the season. So I took up the mantle after that.
Understood.
And I don't want to discredit what he had started, even though it was short. You know, some of the ideas that he had, you know, it's those things are what I just kind of ran with. So I want to big up Pumpkin as well. Devon, I haven't called him Devon in years. All right, Devon Brown. All right, but like I said, we continue to give God thanks and praise. Of course, the ultimate. Okay. You know, blessings, yeah.
Teach.
Yes, sir. Right. This season in particular has been the result of a development program that has been taking place for so many years, and I really want to thank Sir Brong for being a part of the school, and I know that that sentiment is shared by everybody at the school. Sports development, we know, goes hand in hand with education. We have seen it teach these children teamwork. I've seen it teach them discipline and commitment and perseverance and many values that you may not be able to just tell children. So, you know, this program at the school, I'm privileged to be a part of it. I'm blessed, and we are committed to developing these girls and the boys as well.
I just would like to thank Sir Brong as well, because it's not that just he comes out every day and work hard with these girls and the boys. He does it without a cost.
Okay.
So he's been associated with the school for years, and he have not asked nothing but hard work from the players. So that is truly knowing that it coming from the heart, and these children look up to their coach, because they could find idle things to do. They could be after school, they could be on the road, many of them walking. You see school children these days, you're always hearing about it, but he keeps them busy and he gives them something to look forward to, and that is truly amazing. So I want to thank Sir Brong, also the principal, Miss Christine Benoit Hackett, who also continuously talk to these girls, talk. She talks to encourage them. The teachers have a big part to play as well, and the parents, the villagers who will show up at these matches to support these girls. So yeah.
All right, thank you very much. So I want to thank all of you all for joining us on set today. It was a really great segment to show what hard work really does. So viewers, thank you so much for joining us this entire day. You know, it was a rainy day, but Tobago Updates brought the motivation to you. So we're going to be heading over to Good Morning Tobago with Candice Jackson. Don't go anywhere just yet. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Thank you.
Tobago, music from the combined band of the Tobago Mass Band and Boys Brigade accompanied the parade detail towards James Park, Scarborough. Commanding the armed and unarmed contingents was Lieutenant Commander Kerwin Paris of the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard. Spectators, Tobago House of Assembly dignitaries, ex-servicemen and specially invited guests all looked on. They were awaiting the arrival of the Chief of Defense Staff representative, followed by guests of honor. Tobago's last known surviving veterans arrived with family, guided by military escorts. The latest Tobago Remembrance Day honoree, Dr. Robert Nelson, popularly known as Calypso icon Lord Nelson. He served in the U.S. military during the Korean War and was the first veteran to arrive. Mr. Iman Legol, who served in World War II, got there shortly after. Presiding Officer Abby Taylor arrived on cue, followed by Deputy Chief Secretary Dr. Faith B. Yisrael, who acted in the absence of the Chief Secretary. The parade was then called to shoulder arms before the first blast of the cannon signaled the start of 2 minutes of silence. A second blast of the cannon ended the period of silence, followed by drummers of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force sounding the last post. Pastor Caleb Phillips delivered the prayer, followed by an act of remembrance by the ex-Service League.
Over the years, many persons have put their lives on the line, made sacrifice for king and country. Our history is written in their blood, sweat, and tears. It is meet that we do from time to time give praise and glory to God for their bravery, their courage and commitment to country, and their sacrifice.
The Deputy Chief Secretary, accompanied by her military aide, proceeded to lay the first of 11 wreaths in tribute to Tobago's courageous veterans. The parade commander presented arms as all stood at attention for the playing of the national anthem. The short but sacred ceremony ended with detachments quickly filing out of James Park, leaving behind the poppy wreaths. They are a symbol placed in memory of the brave Tobagonians who served and fought for the freedoms we enjoy today. I'm Ryan McCool for Let's Talk Tobago.
That was a production of the Department of Information.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. The Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development engaged 500 people for a cleanup campaign over the next month. The workers were assigned to areas around Tobago that experienced flooding, landslides, and other problems associated with recent inclement weather conditions. However, PDP political leader and Assemblyman for Roxborough, Argyle Watson Duke, criticized the move because the employment time was too short. He also questioned the selection of people for the campaign if each electoral district was only allowed to submit 16 names. Staying with infrastructure, the division also presented a plan to repair the Badrock area in Kendall. It experienced significant landslips threatening the roadway after adverse weather conditions. The plan will involve extensive construction, road expansion, and erosion control in the area with simultaneous construction of a connector road from Iron Ridge, Zion Hill to Longbed Bell Garden. Based on a preliminary assessment, the possibility of blasting and excavation of the rock face embankment at Badrock is likely. Designs will take place over the next 20 days, followed by construction works lasting approximately 45 days. And nationally, tears flowed as LMCS diver Christopher Boudram took the witness stand on Tuesday's Commission of Inquiry into the Paria diving tragedy. He and 4 other divers were sucked into a pipeline while they were working on it. Boudram made his way out, but the 4 men perished. In describing the ordeal, he lamented that no one attempted to rescue them during the almost 3 hours he was stuck in the pipeline. When he got out and told everyone around him that the men were still alive, Boudram said rescue attempts were not made. Boudram broke down and said he failed to bring help for his diving buddies and now lives with that guilt. And that was the news in 90 seconds. And well, viewers, yes, you know, we are continuing our Beneath the Surface sessions with each assemblyman, each councillor on the Tobago House of Assembly. Of course, it's almost a year. December 6th would make it a year since the PDP made that historic entry into the THA. So we are, you know, we've been chatting with the members and to get from them, each one of them, what's it been like? You know, what are their personal struggles? How have they been able to rise above some of the challenges that have been thrown at them? And now on set with us this morning is none other than the assemblyman for Golden Lane,
Bethesda Leketo,
sorry, and the secretary for Education, Research and Technology, none other than Ms. Sarisha Hackett. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Tobago. It's a rainy day, but we have some sunshine in the studio.
Yes, that's lovely yellow this morning.
How are you?
I am great.
All right.
Now we're going to get straight into it. Now we're going to start with, you know, for viewers who may not have known who you were before you entered into politics. So I just wanted to give a brief synopsis of what your life was.
Okay, so I started teaching on my 19th birthday. I taught at what is now called the Goodwood Secondary School. It was the Scarborough Secondary Center before that. And then I went off to university. After about 3.5 years of teaching, I did a double major in linguistics and literature and a minor in education, and I did some postgraduate study in education and in linguistics. I returned to Tobago and was sent to Scarborough Secondary School. They had just started a 6-1 program, and of course, you know, communication studies is one of those compulsory areas, and so my background allowed me to be placed in that position. And I spent 9.5 years there before being so frustrated with the fact that I was a contracted teacher and felt as if the system forgot us as contracted teachers. You know, we actually brought a legal suit against the Division of Education as contracted employees, and at that moment I just exited the teaching fraternity and started my own academic institution. And within about 6 or so months the pandemic started, and then everything changed across the world, you know, having me, you know, move into a place where I needed to kind of revisit my goals and revisit my ambitions and my dreams and so on. The aim was to continue study. And then, of course, I was recruited. Recruited by my colleague, Assemblyman Fali Augustine, Chief Secretary of the Tobago, and the rest is history. I ran in the January 25th, 2021 elections for the electoral district of Plymouth, Golden Lane, and then of course the 6-6 deadlock moved it into 15 electoral districts, and the reconfigured electoral district of Bethesda Leketo is my electoral district, which includes Homes of Adventure, Golden Lane, and Woodlands. Yeah.
All right. Now, you said recruited by Mr. Fali Augustine.
I have to call it that.
Yes. And what about it? What about the PDP? What about the call made you want to consider politics?
So, I was very vocal in this space. Always.
Certainly.
Yeah. Always, you know, trying to figure out how we can be our best selves on this island of Tobago. And there comes a point in time when you have to stop complaining and do something about it. And so a group of young professionals in this space, we used to meet regularly and just kind of try to map out what we see our island becoming, the developmental goals, you know, what's keeping us back from progressing as an island, you know, and we all had different ambitions. I don't think everybody had a political ambition. I certainly did not. But you wanted a movement that felt like something from the ground up, something that remained very rootsy, something that listened to the cries of the common man, something that can take regular Tobagonians and place them in a position where they can make a difference. And we were fed up of the status quo. We were fed up of, because in our adult or young adult life, all we knew was the People's National Movement. I mean, that's, you know, the era we came out of, straight out of high school. They, you know, wrestled this away from DAC NAR, and then of course we had 21 years, you know, of that reign. And so we kind of wanted to see what else was to be offered in this space. We spoke about it all the time, and we kind of started mapping out what a political organization would look like if we ever had to move in that direction. And so now Chief Chief Secretary Fali Augustine, of course, he always, had that desire to make a difference in this space. And I was his campaign manager when he ran in the 2017 election and won. And of course, with the movement and the trajectory of the political organization, I became the PRO. And naturally, you have districts, because you're a part of them and you're from them, you know what those needs are. And so because it's my birthplace and most of my family live there, that Plymouth Bethesda area, I was, I had first-hand experiences of the neglect. I had first-hand experiences of, everything that needed to go right that just was not. And that desire for my people to have a seat at the table propelled me there. It took some motivation too, and it took some prodding, but again, as I say, the rest is history.
Now, Chief Secretary Fali Augustine would have given you that portfolio of education, and it seems a natural fit because you came from that background, and we said over the past, the 9 years previous, you were a teacher, and you faced the challenges of a teacher as being a contract teacher and so on. And how were you able to adjust now from being on that side, from being on the outside, then to come on the inside and try to deal with, what many people say is a mess at education?
Candace, a mess is an understatement. And the transferring as a member of staff of the division to now leading the division, in some elements it was natural because I kind of first knew what some of the challenges, and I'm saying some because you're never aware of everything until you're actually at the table. And then in other elements it proved very challenging. So I realized that where I was so vocal against the division and, calling it out as it was and able to identify the flaws, now sitting on this side, and some would call it poetic justice, I had to quickly change my mindset because now it wasn't about complaining and pointing out what was wrong. It was about fixing it. Yes. And fixing it is not a one-man show. And I quickly realized that in our governance structure, there is no orientation period. There is no coaching or mentoring unless you yourself seek that out. And so from the first day I walked into the division, I realized, listen, I have to quickly learn the ropes of the division. And of course, that meant building relationships with members of staff and having a really good relationship with your administrator, because your administrator becomes your guide. Your administrator is the one who points you in the direction of the bureaucratic process. And I quickly needed to use my interpersonal skills to be able to leverage that kind of support from the division. And it has been a bonding process for the last 11 months. Administrator changed three times. So we moved from one person to another in about April, and a brand new administrator is there, and she returned.
And why was there such a change?
Well, to be honest with you, the change occurred across the THA. Right? It didn't happen in my division only. I was not aware of the first change. The second change, I was not happy with some things that were happening there, and I kind of wanted to ensure that the division had the best support. So I made some requests. However, it's not up to a secretary. You would say, you need that type of leadership there. And so you need an administrator who is really experienced. With a division such as mine, my division has a lot of challenges. We have a lot of potential, but the guidance and leadership needs to be solid. And a young, inexperienced secretary needs a solid administrator at his or her side. And that's just the reality of it. I am learning. Right? Some persons call it OJT, and I'm not ashamed to say it. We've never been politicians before. It wasn't my life goal. I didn't do any, political studies or so. I tried to pursue some studies in governance, and then I changed that trajectory into leadership because I realized that, you don't box yourself in. If you understand, the aims and goals and objectives of a leader, then you can fit in any role. And so, again, that guidance was necessary. And I'm very much appreciative of my administrator. Good morning, Mrs. Deanne Baker-Henry. I am also appreciative of the technocrats in the division. The technocrats in the division are the winds beneath my wings. You're a teacher, but you're on the outside looking in, and that's one component of your job. But managing a division that is also responsible for the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute, for TITL, for treating with tertiary education and our thrust there, and for being able to fill those gaps, the gaps of inclusive education, the gaps of TVET, technology in education now post-pandemic, and of course, as you've heard me say, us moving in the direction of a Tobago-centric curriculum. So it's a lot of work to do, and of course you have the little fires to out in between, which keeps us back as secretaries from really tackling the policy positions. And that's one of the things that I thought that we can just run in there from day one and start to build on those policies. But it's not so easy when in 11 months you have to clean up 21 years of disarray
and
and chaos.
And certain from my side, because I have watched, I've covered, like, as a younger reporter, covered when you guys sort of took the assembly to court over the whole contract teachers issue and so on, and then seeing this come full circle where you're now in a position to do something about it.
Right.
Have you been able to do anything about that?
I have a trusty assistant secretary, very competent, very knowledgeable, and has the expertise of the HR concerns, because again, he at one point in time, well, as a matter of fact, more than one occasion, was the tutor Tobago officer, Councillor Orlando Kerr. Good morning, Councillor Kerr. And so I think it was a really good partnership and combination. A teacher who actually went through the system and was disappointed and disillusioned by, what we have calling, as we call, contract employment in the Tobago House of Assembly, what passes as that. And then an assistant secretary who operated as a teacher, yes, but also on the other end of the scale as tutor Tobago officer, and having that union background and being able to be representative of his members. And therefore, I think that combination was almost the perfect marriage, because you had that person who was able to understand what happens there at the commission and how much advocacy was required to move that forward, those concerns forward. And one of the reasons why the contract scenario is so out of our hands in some elements now that I'm here is because our establishments have to be cleaned up. And for years, being on the outside, I was hearing about this task force that is cleaning up and doing the audits of the schools and so on. And when you come in and you realize how much work there is to be, that has to happen with our 9 schools on the island. And 2 of those schools are originally being SEM schools, and now you're changing that curriculum and pushing in a different direction. And the fact that our auditing has not been up to scratch. And so you have teachers resigning, teachers retiring, and those replacements are not so easy to be filled if you don't have that paperwork done well. And then of course you have a need, so you can't wait until the paperwork is done well and have classes left without teachers. How do you fill that gap? And so I guess the contract employment was a way and means to fill that gap, but it was supposed to be an interim measure. And you know how things go. If that bureaucratic process is not followed up on, very quickly it balloons out of proportion and you end up with a backlog. And the backlog is clear across the THA in other elements as well, not only in the Division of Education, but in other divisions. Backlog is what we've met as an administration. And so I've tasked Councillor Kerr with the responsibility of us, because we have to delegate and we have to be able to see strengths and weaknesses in leaders and be able to say, listen, while I deal with the curriculum and the direction of how the education would move from us being probably 7th or 8th on a national scale, I want you to deal with the HR matters. And that could only happen after we settle down to get schools reopened in the first instance in April, and then in a major way in September. And as you know, that came with some challenges as well. Yeah. And it's kind of pity when we focus so much as an administration and as a division on the infrastructural concerns. When you hear education now, you're thinking about the actual plant, you're thinking about the furniture and so on, but there's so much more that goes into education. And I think what has happened over the years is no one has really buckled down and get the policy positions in. And again, we noticed upon assuming office that the division had no strategic plan since 2008.
No, I mean, from what you're saying, I mean, because there's so many challenges, so many things that you did not know from the outside looking in. Yeah. But now that you are on the inside, do you think you can be a little bit forgiven about the previous policy heads, the previous secretaries. I mean,
forgiving. 21 years is a very long time to get it right. Forgiving 11 months if you're coming in and you're meeting that and you're trying to move from where you're at to where you need to be. But 21 years is a long time for me to be forgiving. And no, I'm not. 21 years, 2 decades, no, Candice. You're in your first term and you have to find your way. And I always say you can't get it right in a 4-year term. It's just not possible. By your second term, because you've understood, right, you put those strategies into place and you map that out. You give yourself short, medium, and long-term goals. By the third term, right, you found your way, and so you're making those strategic plans. You're putting them into action now. You're reviewing, you're monitoring, you're evaluating, you're changing up what you think didn't work, and you're building on what worked. By your fourth term, this is 16 years now, you're perfecting the craft. Again, 21 years, no forgiving, none at all. 21 years. And you know, it's amazing that we've been asked to forgive 21 years. And in 11 months, you're getting the cries of, you know, we're not getting what we expected from the PDP. We're not getting this. So we had patience and the ability to forgive for 21 years, but not that ability for 11 months. And so, no, I'm not forgiving.
Now, I mean, there's also that criticism coming out that the PDP, like you said, PDP, there's an expectation there among the population that the PDP promised to deliver these things, but they're not. And you guys got in there, you realize that the issues are way bigger than you anticipated from the outside looking in. And I mean, so then you're saying, okay, well, yeah, these are other things that we have to do, these are other things that we have to do, these are other things that need to come into place. So then how do you resonate that with the people?
Right.
How do you have them understand?
So, one thing, when I walked the campaign trail in January and December, and my residents can attest to it, I made no promises. None. And one of the reasons for that was I always told my residents, I do not know what I'm going to meet when I get in there. We can't campaign strongly that we need to get in there and not expect there to be a lot of cleaning up to do. And so I was very apprehensive on what I placed on the table. As a matter of fact, my opponents in both elections, you know, kept asking, what is she going to offer you? We're not hearing on the platform saying she's going to give this, she's going to, and that is because I was very mindful that you're on the outside looking in. You don't know what you're going to meet there, right? Another element of it, our campaign slogan, let we fix this. And you know, every now and again, we would have persons adding now to it. And that was also something I was apprehensive of. I did not want to push that now in it. Now means that you have an immediate fix to it and that you're fully aware of the scope and depth of that issue. And I am not, and my team is not. Let we fix this doesn't mean now. Let we fix this means there is something to be fixed. And when we get there, we take our time and we analyze what needs to be fixed, and you determine the route to fixing it. Some issues could have been fixed immediately, and you saw that within the 11 months.
And what were some of those issues that were fixed
in my division?
Yes.
All right. So I have always wondered why we have so many Tobagonians pursuing education off the island in areas we need them. And there was always a backlog with our training awards committee and our DATAS, Department of Advanced Training and Advisory Services. That backlog, Tobagonians want to go out there. It could be in Trinidad or wherever else and come back here, right? And be able to actually contribute to this island's development. And we've had a backlog. And one of the immediate things I did as secretary was go to the Executive Council and say this vote is ridiculous. How many Tobagonians can we finance? And financing doesn't mean 100% financing, right? You have to always have persons understand that they need to meet you somewhere. And I think we also have to be very wary of not creating a call, come to the Tobago House of Assembly for assistance, but we also have to measure that assistance and ensure that it's sustainable. And I think that the THE has not done a very good job at that. But we, in the last, let's say, 8 or so months, because we paused at the end of the financial year, we're able to assist Tobagonians to the tune of $6 million, 70 Tobagonians. It's the largest assistance we've ever had in the history of the THE. And that is because we value tertiary education. not only tertiary education, but skills training. And we're trying to push that in that direction as well. You know, you don't want Tobagonians to believe that the careers that we value are only vested in the law and the politics and the medicine. You want Tobagonians to also understand that we need to get into auto mechanics and we need to get into, you know, these areas that are not valued. And again, that all boils down to our value system on TVET, our value system on skills training, our value system on that dual track of education, where persons understand that it's not a plan B. It didn't work out for you with the academics, so go and learn a trade. And so that is another area that I want to champion with my team at the division. But coming back to that, we had that challenge. We had a challenge where teachers and internal staff of the division were lamenting over the fact that gratuity and increments were just there piling up. Were just piling up and not being pushed forward in a way that they were supposed to. And in this 11 months, $17 million in gratuity and increments was paid out. Yeah, right? And I mean, these are the things we have to celebrate. And it's a pity that you have to celebrate something like this. This is the right of the employee. But to celebrate it meant that there was a backlog piling up there. I myself I'm owed gratuity by the division, you know what I mean? And it's crazy that you have employees having to come to the division and you know, spend time advocating for their own money. It's really crazy. Another area in that short space in time that I was my admin, and I don't say I, because even if I come with the passion for it, I need a team to help me push that in that direction, right? Technology and education. I didn't want Tobago to move back to a stage of where we were pre-COVID. The world has changed. And we had a lot to do to catch up, Candice, a lot. And I saw schools regressing to the chalk and talk, the whiteboard.
Yeah,
and after we invested so much in the technology, you saw persons just putting it away. It's now, you know, a device just to play a game on or to watch a video on and not being able to integrate it into the actual curriculum. And so now that the division has been renamed, the Division of Education, Research and Technology, we have to live up to that name. And living up to that name means that we have to ensure that we have a solid policy moving forward for how we use the technology and for how we digitize and digitalize Tobago as a whole. And therefore, that is another focus area. Very soon, we're going to be going into schools, the secondary schools in the first instance, and we're going to be calling on corporate Tobago to also assist us in outfitting our primary and ECCs with smart screens. So teachers can now move into utilizing the technology in the classroom and having students understand that this is the direction the world is moving in. We have e-testing coming up soon. So very soon, as a matter of fact, we're doing a pilot project in the schools where they begin with the math and the English, secondary schools, of course, where you do your examinations on your computer. That's the direction CXC is moving in. And therefore, we have to keep up with the world. So that's another area that I've been pushing the division in, of course, with the support and guidance of my administrator.
Certainly. And now, I mean, I want to move to another part of
one more thing, the maxi taxi issue. So my assistant secretary, oh my God, you talk about perfect combination. The assistant secretary, again, took that as an area to champion because it was ongoing. Everybody knows that that was an ongoing issue, right? And so we were able to clean up, first of all, the issues that we had and to organize a policy that speaks to the relationship the division has with PTSC and the maxi taxi drivers. And I must commend him again. That is how leaders operate. You delegate and you know what the strengths are of your colleagues and you have them champion some of the causes that you may not be able to, you know, to push in that direction, and you fall back on some of the areas you think you have some strengths with. So Candice, is a lot of areas. You're going to hear us discuss those tomorrow in the house, in tomorrow's sitting. But for now, those are some of the areas I think in a very short space in time, we as a division were able to treat with.
And certainly, but one of the challenges that you faced during this past 11 or so months was that of, you know, the construction, the repair, to
school repair program.
Yes, to the schools. In terms of, you know, how contracts were given out, you know.
Oh, so much said by fake profiles, yeah?
But I mean, what did you learn from that whole process? I mean, like what mistakes are you not going to repeat again going forward? Because there was so much said whether, you guys should have started earlier. There was a lot.
So, mistakes. I don't know if it's a mistake that I assumed office coming down to the end of a pandemic where schools were closed for 2 years. We had no routine maintenance in that time. We have aging infrastructure across the island. We don't have a thorough system where that monitoring and evaluation of the plans take place. I don't know if that was a mistake. But I mean, I assumed office, my assistant secretary and myself, we assumed office at a time where it's almost like we literally were placed in the heat of the thing. So after 2 years of schools being closed, we came into office in December, and by by February for Standard 5, we were asked to open the doors of most of our plants where we had challenges to begin with. All right? And so in that space in time between December and February, even if you had to walk in every school and assess the challenges, 2 months is a very short space in time to, first of all, replenish destroyed furniture and to just deal with all the issues we needed to deal with on a health and safety basis. And so again, you're taking note. I realize that we're having challenges procuring as quickly as we want to. We have to send to Trinidad if we want furniture. What is the relationship we have with URP? Let me see if I can utilize what the Tobago House of Assembly already has and try to see if we can have some collaboration. So yes, we've been doing things this way, and we've not been leaning too much on what we actually have in this space, and that was because you're learning. So furniture is a challenge, getting it to Tobago is a challenge, manufacturing it and lining up with every other school and education zone in Trinidad is a challenge. Let's utilize what we have here. So issue and solution. That's how I operate. I don't lament over, whatever has happened. I learn from it. When we reopened in April, again, we had challenges where if I take an inventory from you in February, by the time April, if you ask me for 6 desks, by the time April came around, I'm hearing that you need 12. Because in that space in time, again, we have challenges with termites across our schools. Again, something I met here. So we had some challenges with furniture in April. And it quickly made me realize how important every part of your division is. As secretary, you can want the best, you can have all the passion and purpose in the world and stand in front of Tobago and say, listen, I am confident that we're opening our doors in April, because when I did my check here in procurement, when I did my check here in accounts, when I did my everything is lined up. And something as simple as a boat not sailing, because that's the reality, or something as simple as a check not being prepared in time, or something as simple as a procurement supervisor saying, I think this is going to happen, but it didn't happen. Then as secretary, in spite of the internal challenges, you have to be able to face that media and face Tobago with a brave face and learn from your mistakes. All right? With the school repair program, again, first time as secretary, you're coming in, you expect systems to be working. It's not a one-man show. So whether I'm there or not, furniture has to be procured and schools have to be repaired, And so that evaluation, that tendering and evaluation process, that entire process, trust me, if I had only known there were so many moving parts in that process, probably since January I would have started the process. But then again, that is impossible because you do a scope of works in January for a school. By the time June, that scope has changed. And you don't want to run into variation when you give your contracts out. So you have to come as close as possible. A lot of what we saw in January with our schools in terms of what needed to be repaired, extended, expanded, and was, way larger than that by the time we got to June. And of course, the kind of crazy weather we've been having this year, climate change and all of that, a lot of the work that needed to be done based on our initial or preliminary evaluation change. So that happened. And even before our contractors started going on the ground, and contrary to popular belief or what's the narrative by these fake profiles and noises in this space, the work did not begin 2 weeks before the school reopened. We had phase 1 and phase 2 of the tendering process where contracts were awarded. And then as secretary, when I saw how slow the process was and the fact that this is hard on the island because of that shutdown, I took the initiative to go to my executive council and say, listen, it's not like any other facility where you can say closed for repairs, and whenever it's open, Tobagonians are patient and awaiting that reopening. Schools needed to be reopened on the 5th of September. And even before I made a decision like that and went to the Executive Council, you started seeing the fake pages saying, we already know this isn't going to happen, and so on, and preaching doom and gloom in the space. And
So
I'm like, why would Tobagonians celebrate the fact that a school isn't open? And as secretary, when I realized that, you know, the scope of 2 of our schools was so extensive, they would not open on the first day, which was the 5th. Speyside for 1 day, and Scarborough Sec initially for a week. And then we realized that the scope and extent needed for us to do a rotation system. I faced the media bravely before, proactively. And, you know, I saw in Trinidad how many schools opened. But then we ended up with some issues of falling concrete and students going through flooring and so on. And I am not into the save face. Let me save face. And so we opening on the 5th just to say I opened on the 5th. Health and safety comes first. And be responsible is my priority. And therefore we dealt with the fact that unfortunately we could not have one of our schools open. And it's no secret of the challenges that particular school has faced. Right?
So how did this experience help you, you know, change the way that you're going to approach, or the division, I should say, is going to approach school repairs and so on? Because that is an extremely important issue in the eyes of the public.
Right. So it not only school repairs, Candice, it changed my approach into how we collaborate, on how we have reporting done, on how we do oversight, and how we follow up on the roles and responsibilities of employees. And so now you're not just taking out someone's word for it. You're walking the floors. You're getting out into the schools and you're actually saying for yourself, listen, PIU is telling me this, but I want to see for myself. Because I am the one who has to face the media. I'm the one who has to answer the questions, and I'm the one who has to take responsibility as leader of the division. And therefore, it not only becomes you know, I'm sending you there for you to come back and report to me. No, I am hitting the ground myself. I think that it's my responsibility as secretary. I don't get too much involved in procurement. That's one of the areas I stay very clear of. But for every other area, I'm on the ground. And therefore, the school repair program and the challenges we've had, I don't want to be preemptive, but I am very sure that we are not going to experience these problems again. Firstly, as I said,
hold you to that.
Firstly, as I said, it's the most extensive school repair program we have ever done on the island. So that's, and it's no excuse, but I don't think we'll ever have that extensive school repair program moving forward, especially with routine maintenance being a priority of the division now. And then, of course, when you have a very astute, very diligent administrator at your side who also understands the implications you face as secretary and the division faces whenever we can't have one of our plants up and running, then you have that understanding that it needs to be a team effort. And you're not having your secretary facing the media, having to deal with these challenges on her own when she herself doesn't pick up a hammer and nail and actually replace galvanize, or she herself doesn't sign a check, or she herself is not a part of the procurement process. And so it's made me closer and more tightly knit to my division and understanding everybody's role and responsibility in the bigger picture.
Now, there's also this criticism or this perspective within some members of the public that perhaps Mr. Orlando Kerr should have been granted that position of secretary.
Who are the person saying that? I've never heard that before.
No, but how
I heard it from the minority leader.
How would you respond to such a criticism that you know that perhaps Mr. Kerr, as a more senior, more experienced person, should have been given the head?
It's said more on a gender discrimination thing, though. I have never heard really senior, but whether it's seniority or gender, the chief secretary placed this position into my hands. As a matter of fact, I only knew I was the Secretary of Education on the day we were named secretaries. All right? And that is because at first, he assessed us. He assessed your qualifications, your skills, your training, your experience, your background. He did. But it doesn't mean because I was a teacher that I would make the best Secretary of Education. Who knows? Probably I might have done well at ComDev or tourism. It doesn't matter. One thing I told him is, I am here to serve. I want to be able to balance whatever I do in a division with what I do in my electoral district. So whatever I'm doing, I have to find a way where it's such a best fit that it's not going to take me away from my district. That was the one thing I asked for. And I am the one who asks the chief secretary, wherever you put me, ensure that it's somewhere that I actually have some background knowledge, or because you know of my passion, you know it's going to, you know, you don't want to have to come and you're totally clueless. The thing about being a secretary, as I now realize, your background knowledge is not really important. Your leadership style and that ability to command the respect of persons around you and to also give that respect. And to be a team player is more important than your background knowledge. As secretary, you don't cross every T and dot every I, you know, and so it didn't matter where I went. And if the chief secretary chose Mr. Kerr as the secretary, I would be the best assistant secretary to my secretary, because that is what I believe in: service, not in the title. Right? If you ask me right now, if we could choose between being standalone assemblyman and just manage your district totally, or being secretary, chances are you're going to hear me saying the assemblyman, area representative part of the job, because I enjoy it. I'm enjoying secretary, yes, but you see, when I'm on the ground with my people, something that I've not been able to really fulfill as much as I did during that 6-6 deadlock, that's where I'm happiest, honestly. At this level, because you're responsible for policy, and because you can change the face of the island, and because you're able to help, you know, persons on the island to reach their goals, and because we're moving towards autonomy, and we're understanding that as Tobagonians we need to step up to the plate and take responsibility for an island, I am able to learn so much from this role as secretary. But the secretary role doesn't make me who I am. Service is in my name, and that's exactly what I think I've been placed in this position to do, to serve.
And on that point, we're going to take a short break, viewers, but don't worry, we'll be right back with the Secretary of Education, Research and Technology, and the Assemblyman for Bethesda Lekatu. My goodness, I don't know why I'm mixing that up this morning. But yes, so Bethesda Lekatu. And yes, so we'll be right back, so don't go anywhere.
Was a while before Christmas, and all through the land, people was putting away house with very little money in hand. They was painting and cleaning and doing the chores, but I went to hunt for deals at American stores. Deals on living and dining room sets, on fridges and stoves, beds and cabinets, on washers and dryers, small appliances cheap, even TVs and stereos, prices just can't be beat. So let's Christmas together at American stores. After all, what they tell me, anything could be yours.
It's a different type of thing down there. Man, we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there, down in Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago, and viewers, yes, we are joined by the Assemblyman for Bethesda Lekatu and the Secretary of Education, Research and Technology, Ms. Sarisha Hackett, and we have a lot to get through.
We do.
Hopefully we can get through all the things that we need to get through in the next bit. I just want to turn, because we've been dealing with education for a bit, and I know there's a lot more questions out there that people have, but I want to turn a little bit to your role as an assemblyman. I want to focus a little bit on that, and we'll come back to some of those other issues in a little bit. But you said before we went to break that you were not able to get on the ground as much as you would like, becoming a secretary, becoming accepting that role into the executive council and so on. How have you been able to balance that?
Right. So as I said before, And, you know, that 6-6 deadlock really gave us an opportunity to show where our hearts are, my colleagues and myself. We had one job, and that one job was to be the best representative of the people, the best representatives. And so on a daily, my routine would be to go to my electoral district office at Plymouth Golden Lane at that time. And I spent most of the morning hours dealing with paperwork, helping persons apply for jobs, helping persons to, you know, basic everyday application processes, and then advocating strongly on their behalf to secretaries and the executive council for the issues or challenges they faced as residents. And then from the afternoon, you walk the ground. And I'm talking about outside of us running another election. This is very far from that period when we had to, you know, go back into campaign mode. And that was my daily routine. Spend some time in the district office and on the ground, in every street, in every nook, in every cranny, putting up a tent here and having some roving office days. At that point in time, we were still in the throes of the pandemic, and so the relief efforts were there. So we were on the ground with the bread drive, and we were dealing with TADCO and having that vegetables and chicken and all of that, ensuring that we met the basic needs of our people. And from December 13th, everything changed. Everything changed, not on the onset, because of course you're moving from one election to the next, from one role into the next. You're going to maintain your routine. And then I quickly realized that my days were becoming longer at the division and shorter in the district, you know. And it hurts you because when you've grown accustomed to really being there with your people, and then you have your people saying, we're seeing you less, right? I started to kind of reanalyze the entire thing. And that is why I said, if we ever had to have standalone, like you could actually be, you know, just assemblyman and I'm not talking about being just assemblyman and not being able to meet the needs of our people. That's how our governance structure is set up.
And I want to talk about meeting the needs, because I've seen that people have been posting on social media. It was like, you know, you promised that this road would be fixed. Right. There's still potholes in the road. Right. Drainage problems, etc.
There are two different types of needs you encounter as an assemblyman, as an area representative. Two different types of needs. They're individual needs, and then they're community needs, right? How our governance structure is set up, and it's unfortunate that it has been set up that way, but this administration has pledged to change that, where you have community funding, district funding. But how our governance structure is set up, as an assemblyman, you have no funds in your district office. I don't have a safe or a petty cash tin where if you come to me and say, listen, my electricity is out and I have been in darkness for a month and I'm unemployed and I need to turn the lights back on, my children are in school, there is no funding for that. If someone comes and they have no groceries, you know, or whatever, there is no funding for that. And so as an area representative, Kitty in the THA and take that out as area representatives. I'm just using that as an example. Every single thing we do. And so what most area representatives have done is put aside a part of their salary to deal with the district concerns. I'm talking about the individual needs, right? Sponsorships of your fishermen activities, sponsorship of your sports clubs, sponsorship, everything that happens in our districts, we put our hands in our pockets and spend on that. The community efforts, that's where advocacy comes in, and that's where having a seat at the executive council and having your assistant secretaries and yourself being really good colleagues and understanding the importance of teamwork and each one looking out for the other is important. I've heard Secretary James say it, and it's true, that I've left my district undone to ensure that my colleagues' districts are seen about. And that is that selfless camaraderie among my colleagues that I absolutely love. Now, he has to mind his business because very soon his district may say, you're seen about everybody else except us. But yeah, the advocacy we've practiced so much in that 6-6 deadlock of getting in there and writing the letters and ensuring we mind our district's business. Now that practice and the fact that we're in governance, it's so easy to ensure that our colleagues understand our needs. And therefore, when you have the issues of the roads and the drains and so on, you're able to advocate to your colleague. The thing is, because we have so many issues across the island, you as area representative may believe that your issue or your district's issue is more important than another district's issue. And this is where teamwork comes in. And this is where sharing and collaboration and teamwork comes in.
Now, one of the commitments that each member of your team made was, and I believe it was part of the social contract, that you guys would be meeting with your community once every month. Have you been able to keep that promise?
No, not once every month, but let me tell you, my district has so many ways to get on to me. My residents of my district can come to my division and see me. Residents of my district are a part of a social media hub where they can reach me. I have a field officer, and I have officers that are on the ground. So if I'm not on the ground every day, they are. My district also has the opportunity every now and again, and we've had some challenges because, of course, you know, community centers are managed by village councils, and your multipurpose facilities are managed by coordinators, right? But my district has had the opportunity of being able to engage with me in community open mic forums and that type of kind of collaboration and engagement that is very important for us to progress as a district. Just tomorrow, we're going to have one of those community engagements because, as you know, I am area representative of Leketo, and, you know, we've had some really unfortunate incidents. It didn't start yesterday, though. So it has been some historical challenges we've had with that area. Just earlier this year, we had the district being identified as one of the crime hotspots on the island. And so there needs to be some solid conversations moving forward with the residents on how we really arrest these challenges before they grow further out of our control. And therefore, these community open mic forums allow residents the opportunity to let their voices be heard. And I think as colleagues, my colleagues and myself, we've been really trying to bridge that gap from where we've been on the ground every single day to now where we've met so much to be fixed, Candice, that realistically, and it's so heartbreaking as I'm saying, because you know what you want to do. You know you want to be there with them. But I've asked my residents, and I asked them over and over again, be honest with me. When I was only assemblyman, you saw me more, but you got less done. The district achieved less because I didn't have a seat, we didn't have a voice, we were shut out of governance, we tied, but it's almost as if we were the defeated party. You know, we had a really rough time. And it would break your heart with residents coming to you with a challenge and you're trying to have someone listen to that concern and you're not able to get that voice through. And now, I'm asking them, you're seeing me less, but are you getting more done? Is the district progressing? Are you seeing development? And the answer is yes. And therefore, it's a trade-off. And it doesn't mean that that's an excuse, you know. I myself, through introspection and self-study, I realized that my entire life has to change in terms of how I manage my 24 hours. And being a single mom, studying, being a secretary, being an assemblyman, being a leader, when I make them. The thing about it is, though, when you're so on the ground with your people and so personable like me, you run into challenges where people think that you're favorites with some people or you're giving love to some people. You know, you run into those challenges. You also run into the challenges where visibility becomes a concern. So let me give you an example. I was in a street in Golden Lane, walking that street. And while walking that street, you go to a house, and you spend a half an hour with the people there because they have a lot of concerns or whatever. And while there, I got a phone call. Someone in another street in Golden Lane, we're not seeing you, area representative, and I'm like, I'm in Golden Lane, right? The next week, I went to that house and street in Golden Lane, and you have somebody from Bamboo Hill, Leketo, calling, where are you here? So the thing is, you may be on the ground, but because you're in a particular street, spending so much time addressing the concerns of your residents, you're being asked where you're at. You know what I mean? When we were on the campaign trail, that's all we did. You're campaigning. So you're on the ground every day. You're posting the pictures that you were in the street, you're here, etc. Now, if I have an hour free and I run into a street in a particular village, I'm not posting that I was on the street. I run in to meet the need of whoever that person is, right? You may go in that street when persons are not home. But unlike the campaign trail where you may have left a note to say I was in the street or so, and probably we need to stay in campaign mode right through, because I don't know how it's humanly possible to be able to really do both elements at the same time to the same extent. And that is why I'm saying the constructive criticism that I get is good, because it has you in a space where you're sitting down how to make the most of my 24 hours. Probably when I go into these districts, I shouldn't go in a street. I should probably stand in the junction or be in a more public public area so more persons can see you, you're more accessible, you're more visible. I need to have my field officer probably be more present, you know. I probably need to have someone who can be like a caretaker in every village. So even if you're not getting me, you know, you can go to this one person to be able to have that issue at least heard until it gets to me. And then, of course, all lines of communication need to remain open.
Of course.
That in itself is a challenge, right? So within my first month in office, I would have my phones on the desk. And while I'm in a meeting, I am answering a call. Can you all just excuse me 1 minute? Let me answer this one. And you have the persons in the space not being very happy about that because you're not giving them their individual attention. You may go on the phone and say, listen, I'm in a meeting. Can I call you back? And you have the person on the other side of the line being not happy because they're saying, before the election, you was answering my calls, but you understand what I'm saying? That's all you did, you know, before the elections. You're not employed, right? And then you also have a case of the persons, so the reverse. You are not able to answer the calls in the meeting and the persons on the outside thinking you're ignoring them. I'm talking in general, not me specifically. This is just the plight of the dual role. And then you're gonna have, when you're there on the calls, the persons in front of you not being happy. And therefore I had to quickly delegate again, delegate. You have persons who you have dealing with your district issues, and you ensure your residents understand that this is a confidential person. It's their duty to also look out for you just as I am. If it's a personal matter, because not everybody wants to speak to a stranger.
Yes.
Some persons want that area representative to hear. And that's the thing. It's not always a request they're making, you know. Sometimes people are calling you because they want to pray for you. People are calling you because they're concerned about your health. They want to, you know, to let you know that they're there with you. Keep your head up, keep your chin up. So some people only want you, right? And to be honest with you, this has been one of my hardest challenges, keeping up with the communication.
Right.
Keeping up.
I mean, on that point, Ms. Hackett, I also want to touch on, like I said, I want to swing back a little bit to some of the responsibilities you have as secretary. And in that, you know, there were a lot of programs in terms of the impact program and so on. Now, the PDP ran on a campaign that they would come back to the public and they would give regular reports. They would be very transparent about the results of some of these plans. You know, you guys said that you would do something tomorrow, but you were not able to do it tomorrow, and then sometimes we don't hear what happens after that. You know, how are you all...
So, you're talking about communication to the public?
Yes. Now, how are you all, I mean, how are you all treating with that? Are you guys working on improving that communication with the public? You know, just to give people an update, what's happening with the various programs, implementation, so on.
So I think we've done a lot of work in terms of stakeholder consultation and collaboration. So we've been doing an excellent job with that. As a matter of fact, one of the challenges I have, and I've been very wary of and very apprehensive of, is running out into the public and making an announcement without the stakeholders being a part of that conversation first. I have seen firsthand where that does not augur well, and I've tried to ensure that the reverse happens. And let me give you an example. The media and reporters want to hear it first, but it's not a very good practice to have the media and the reporters hearing it before the teachers who are so affected. And therefore, I've been making it my duty to ensure we collaborate and we have that engagement in-house with whoever the stakeholders are, and having them on board and having them also share visions and goals and also recommendations of how to improve whatever that project is before going out into the public. I think it's not really the best practice to do the reverse. However, we have a responsibility to the wider Tobago audience. And you're right, I think that as an administration, we need to do a better job as in terms of how we communicate with the public, in terms of how we respond to the media. Again, I think that the yardstick given to us was so, and again, I guess it's how we campaigned and how inspirational we were along the campaign trail, right? If you look at any new administration, and I'm not talking about an administration where the political organization was in existence since when, any new, brand new, these are the errors, these are the challenges, these are the blunders they make. And it's not an excuse, but how we learn from them, how we come out of them, how we take the constructive criticism is what's important. And so we have been noting where we've been asked to step up. We have been noting where we've been asked to communicate more. We've been asking, and we've really been trying. I have looked at, and I don't like to compare, but I've looked at how we've been putting information out into the space, and we've done a better job than past administrations.
But I mean, you still have the challenges where, you know, sometimes you guys want to announce an audit, a task force into a certain issue, but then we don't hear anything for months.
Okay, so probably you wouldn't hear anything for months if it's a work in progress. And I think it's always best to measure twice and cut once. Okay. I don't think if there's a preliminary, because I've seen it happen. I've seen, for instance, where the chief secretary in the house explained that this is one of several audits. And then I've seen the media run away with the thing to say audit shows or completed audit shows. And so we also have to be very mindful as politicians that song bites and whatever happens in the moment in terms of communication is very difficult to pull back. And I'm not making an excuse, because I'm also saying that we need to do a better job at PR and we need to do a better job at communication, but we also have to be mindful that sensationalism sells, and anything that comes out of our mouths in a moment as politicians is very difficult to pull back in. And so we have to be very mindful, we have to be very intuitive and cognizant of that fact, and ensure that whatever goes out into the public space is in its final stages. We can give progress reports along the way, but we have to be very cautious and skeptical as to what we put out there, because in this culture, sensationalism sells. Yeah?
Okay. Now, I mean, I want to turn the conversation a little bit to more personal.
So, we are going to be here till 10 or what? Talk to me. We are? I have no challenges.
Well, we'll see about that. But in the meantime, I mean, like, you've been, throughout this whole conversation, you pointed out that you've been struggling a lot with that balancing act. What impact has that had on your personal life? You know, that, you know, you're balancing the secretary position, that portfolio, that of as an assemblyman, and you are also a mother with 2 young children.
I want to say that I accept the challenge. I don't want it to seem as if it's a challenge that's overwhelming me. I actually progress best when I'm challenged. I've always faced challenges, and I think that that's one of the areas, or one of my strengths, my resilience. So I don't want it to be said that, oh my God, they thought this thing was an easy road and now they're in there, they complain. No, 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 no. I am giving what the reality is. And you're seeing a smile on my face because I wake up every day. Let me see what today holds. Let me see what I have to accomplish today. Let me see what I'm championing today. I didn't get it right today, you know, but I now know that I have to take this route to get there instead of this route. So I just want to put it on record that it's not an overwhelming feat. It's not something where it's so, you know, so much that you can't persevere. So with that said, yes, I have 2 daughters. One is in Form 5. And I always envisioned that when she got to Form 5, I would be this mommy on the side, looking over everything, looking through her books, ensuring she gets that support from me as an educator myself. And it's not possible, Candice. And I have a 6-year-old, a very busybody 6-year-old who keeps me so active. It's crazy. And thank God for support systems. Thank God that my daughter, my Form 5 daughter's teachers are so hands-on and so communicative and allow me the opportunity to get the updates and feedback from them. And they've been looking out for her. And I must say thanks to that. And thank God for support system. Mrs. Yvette Carut, good morning. It's almost as if that's your daughter now. And she has stepped up as a grandmother. You know, I'm getting a bit emotional here. She has stepped up as a grandmother in such an amazing way. She only had sons, and so she has this granddaughter that is keeping us so busy now. And that's what the reality is. I don't see that daughter until the weekend because my nights are so long in the division. And then when you go to your district office, like I did yesterday, because you're not able to be there every day with them. When you go, you spend all the time possible. Sometimes I leave there 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm leaving that office. You know what I mean? Because you want your people to understand this entire thing is a sacrifice. The sacrifice is you wouldn't be seeing me as much, but you're gonna get most, not all, because we're not superheroes, we're not waving a magic wand. You're going to get most of your issues dealt with because we have a seat at the table. And we're going to transform this island in a way where every resident feels valued, right? But you're not going to see much of me. And it's the same thing with my children. Mommy is in this role, and I don't plan to be a career politician for the same reason. The fact that you give up so much of yourself. And I also realize that you don't have to sit at the seat to make a difference in your community either. Because I was making a difference before sitting here. And I always say, I don't plan to become the career politician with 2, 3, 4 terms. You're not giving up this thing. It's a forever and ever amen. Old age mustn't meet me in this job at all. I believe you have a calling. You're called to serve. You serve in your season, and you pass that baton on, and you keep it moving. So in this season, I've been called to serve, and it comes with sacrifice. And the sacrifice means I would not see my daughters come home from school every day. I'm not going to see my residents in my district to sit on the block with them and hear what they did today every day. I may not be able to spend every waking moment in the division because I have to go to my district, right? I would have to spend some long hours in the division clearing up the backlog of files there of contract workers to, be given renewed contracts. It's just an all-round sacrifice. And this is not for the faint of heart. It's not for persons who are not resilient. It's not for persons who don't understand their calling and their purpose. Because when you get into this role, everything you thought you knew about yourself, you're going to question, and it's so selfless. And, when you hear persons saying all she got to do is dress up, or all she got to do is pose, or this has always been me, so you'll get over it, right? That is not going to change. However, because of those criticisms, those shallow, trivial criticisms, it pushes you harder. It makes you want to go beyond, go more. But you also have to take care of your mental health. And you also have to take care of you as a person, your spirituality. And, what makes you you. And remember your why. And I always remember those days in Scarborough Sec thinking like I'm not valued. How could I be a teacher in the service, go off to study, and come back and you just throw me and say you're on contract, And when I think about how many teachers were part of that original meeting, when we pulled persons together to make a difference, I remember my why. When I think about the young boy or young girl on the block who's saying we hardly have any activities to do in this village, we do have a recreation ground, one of the common cries of my residents of Golden Lane, then you remember your why. And those elements is what gives you the strength to wake up every day on a rainy day like today and throw on a yellow suit and get wet while you're walking into the studio and let persons understand what your truth is. And those are the reasons why, even with all the internal issues probably the political party is having, you still stay grounded in your truth.
And I want to get into that.
I was hoping you didn't, so I was trying to be preemptive and trying to get into it quick.
Every one of you guys are going to have to go through
Why, Candice?
Because, this is what the public wants to hear. So, Mr. Duke, that situation with Mr. Duke.
Yeah.
Now, you were one of those people that from the start, from 2017 forward, were very much committed to the party. You were all on board, respected Mr. Duke as a political leader.
And I still respect him as political leader.
How
that will never change.
How did this whole situation affect you personally?
Right, so let me tell you, to be honest with you, it all boils down to why you got involved in politics. I got involved in politics for Tobago. All right? And when I had to make the choice, and I'm talking about joining the political party, because you could like the vibe of a party is giving you, you could follow them, but when you register as a member, it's a serious choice. And because I was never politically aligned before that time, it was a very tough decision for me to make. Because I always saw myself as vocal. You doing craziness, you doing mess, I'm calling you out. You could never tell before 2017 where, my loyalties were. And I didn't have any. I believed in personalities, and I believed in personal ambition and aims and what you could bring to the table as a representative. So there was no political element to me. And when I joined this political party, it took me a lot. I literally am going to wear a color jersey now with a symbol on my chest. This is a big deal. It means that I have to take collective responsibility for this organization, and I have to ride with this organization until the wheels fall off. I would have to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly with this organization, and it's a decision that is lifelong. That's what I thought, right? And so we all came into this thing together. And I don't like when persons single out any one particular person as the savior or the be-all and the end-all. every single person had a role to play in this political organization's victory. And I'm talking about even the representatives. I'm talking about every flag waver, every water carrier, every truck man, every single Tobagonian who made this dream. And it's a Tobago dream. And the Tobago dream is bigger than one man. Yeah?
But it seems as though that whole situation is sort of undoing all that work that you guys
You think so? Let me tell you, God is the boss, Candice. And I believe that everything happens for a reason. I was disappointed but not surprised. And I'm not biblical and I don't know every verse in and out, but I know of some stories, and there's a clear one, Moses and Joshua. Very clear, and persons who understand that story understand what I'm talking about. And therefore, while persons are crying it down, I'm looking at the bigger picture. And I'm looking at the fact that anything great goes through trials, goes through challenges, goes through tribulations, and gives you opportunities to strengthen, right? To strengthen your hold, to be able to really question what makes you you. And this is probably a season to be able to be strengthened as a political organization. And for me, I am just happy that this discord and this internal issue that we're having right now happened in the first year. This is excellent. This, if it ever had to happen, let it happen now. We are able now to determine what our desire is. What was our why? We got involved for Tobago, and this is also testing even the legislation, because I don't know if that, well, yes, there was a time when we had persons kind of moving to the other side of the horseshoe, but now we have an anomaly where we have 17 on one side and then one moving, and you literally saw it visually where Mr. Duke sat on the right of Chief Secretary, and now he's sitting on the left of the minority leader. And sometimes you're wondering if they're reading from the same hymn book, you know. I saw that in the House last sitting, and I was wondering what's going on here. Is this the same man these people crucified just the day before all of this happened, and now they're celebrating? And that's just the nature of politics, that you have persons sharing you in the public space and behind being very happy that this seems to be something that is leading to your political organization's demise, you know.
So are you still a member of the PDP?
Of course I am. I'm still the PRO. I am not happy by a lot that's happening in the executive, but I've been elected into this position. Right? And unfortunately, for instance, I was very upset when I saw on the morning the political leaders were dismissed, the deputy political leaders, sorry. I saw my name on that press release. And that's what collective responsibility is, I guess. But I had no part to play in a decision like that, you know. And when I saw that press release out there, PRO, I was like, look at that. I am the PRO. And therefore, the press release would have my name. Was I a part of that decision? No. And it made me question, you know, what the end game is with this, you know. And it made me very, very upset, because we all got into this thing we had here the slogans: child by child, family by family, village by village, people before politics. Let me fix this. Collective. We've always been a political organization that focused on the collective. It was never about I, you know. And when I started seeing elements of the I coming forward, it disappointed me, you know, but not to a stage where I'm disillusioned and I'm saying, oh my God, the sky is falling and all is lost. No, 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 no. I look at this as our test. Our test, you know, the political organization that has been in existence before us went through their challenges too. And, you know, they always say, when meet and pass here, you know, and that is why you don't celebrate, you know, when you see these things happening, because, look, we're going through our thing too. What makes the difference is how we come out of it. And I'm already seeing a beautiful emergence from all of this.
And what is that emergence?
Of course, it's an emergence that I would not want to discuss here, because it's something that probably doesn't even have anything to do with us, you know, with us as physical beings. I don't think it has much to do with us. But I'm seeing that Tobagonians didn't put us here in vain. That is what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing that this victory was not one that it's almost as if, you know, persons wasted their time with it. Or if, you know, persons feel as if, you know, we had so much belief and so much aspirations through you, and now it's all in vain. No, I think that this is our trial, and how we come out of this is going to make us all stronger. And therefore, in this moment, we as a political organization, and I'm calling us that because we are until such time, right? As a political organization, we're going to give Mr. Duke the respect he deserves. As founder, no one can ever take that away from him. But I would also love the political leader to understand that he did not do it alone. And I'm talking about persons on the ground. Because we could stand up and say we're putting ourselves up for an election unless persons come out and vote for us. That's a dream deferred. You know what I mean? And therefore, we have to understand that it's bigger than all of us. And Tobago comes first. And if you have that in the front of your mind, then it doesn't matter what banner you're rolling with, you know, what political organization you align yourself with. The bigger picture has been, and will always be Tobago. And that is what we have to focus now as an administration, not the political element. That internal element, yes, it affects it, but it's governance, and we were placed there, and the construct of the Tobago House of Assembly affords us the opportunity that even if tomorrow we had to say, listen, we're not in the political organization called the PDP, nothing stops us from continuing in our roles as area representatives and as an executive council. The legislative and the executive is not affected. You may question the mandate from the people, but I can tell you, persons voted for us, I think more based on who we are as individuals. I think if we wake up tomorrow and say we're going to go under the banner of a conch shell and our color is white, because who we are and the struggle we went through and what they saw in each of us, the attributes we each display, I think is more important than the banner. Persons are grounded, yes, in the political philosophy, and you like to know that you're repping that and people want something to believe in. But I think the political landscape is changing and persons are leaning more towards the representation they're getting from the individuals. And if all those individuals are under a particular umbrella, then good. But I see people, and you hear it all the time, I don't like the party, you know, but I like Miss Hackett we are representing. Or Nutsi used to be PNM, but Nutsi is now, but because I like Nutsi, wherever Nutsis are going. You get that all the time, and it shows the maturity in the politics now. Persons are calling you out as rep, right? Now you can't just, fall back on a political banner. You know, there were days like that. You could send a crapo in a jacket to go win here, or whatever those philosophies used to. People are judging you for what you can bring to the table, how you can transform their electoral district, the voice you have, and your ability to represent.
I mean, the executive council, I mean, you guys are under that PDP banner. You campaigned on the PDP mandate and so on.
We campaigned on the people's mandate. We campaigned on the mandate of Tobagonians.
But are you fulfilling, as a party, I guess, as people that were under that banner,
yes,
are you fulfilling that mandate?
In 11 months, I think we've gained very good ground there. Asking us this question in 11 months, if we fulfilled, I think we should be using the present continuous tense, because it's not finished. It will never be finished, not even in 4 years, not in 8, not in 12. 21 years of mess cannot be cleaned up in my opinion, 2 terms. It can't, and that's the reality. And you know, I was just looking at the fact that as an island, we had so much patience with this political organization. 21 years. There were some days I would call for Tobagonians to have more backbone, more belly, stand up and advocate for the fact that, and it's not a personality thing, the fact that you've been there for so long, we expect more. And that patience we had as an island, we don't have it now with us. Suddenly, 21 years of patience and taking whatever we got. Persons suddenly, and that is because we have empowered Tobagonians to so do. We have as a political organization, and that is why I'm not upset when we're getting the constructive criticism.
So in other words, you formulated your own medicine.
And that is good, because this is what representational politics should be about. It should be about empowering your electorate to be able to call you out and hold you to task. And I have no challenges with that at all. As a matter of fact, I prefer that than they're silent and they come at the end of a term and they vote you out. At least I have the opportunity to be able to right the wrongs, to be able to learn from my mistakes, and to be able to go back out there strong. So I love it. I just really wish the patience, as I said. I'm not asking for 21 years of patience. That is, as I said, we're not forgiving them for that. I am talking about the fact that in 2 weeks, we're going to be a year old. And if you look around Tobago, and if Tobagonians are really honest with themselves, you are going to see the transformation. It's not going to happen overnight. And as I said before, you cannot fix 21 years of mess in 11 months, in a year, in 4 years, in 2 terms. It cannot happen. But it is a work in progress. And we have to communicate that more. And as I said before, in celebrating our wins, in letting Tobagonians know this is how we met it. This is how we're transforming it. This is how we're fixing it. Present continuous. It's ongoing, right? We have to work on that some more. Right? However, I want to say that the gains we've made, they've not been as celebrated as they should be. And this space is celebrating the fake profiles and the fake news and the propaganda, and we need to move away from it. And we need to be able to call a spade a spade. They're making mistakes. They're young. It's a new team. We're not using it as excuse. But you have to understand that you should use that now to motivate us. Because you want Tobago to win. It's not about PDP and them now, you know. This is the governance of the island in front of you here. And if you want Tobago to really go in the direction you really been advocating for through the electorate and through that system of governance, then everybody has to be everybody's cheerleader and support system and understand the role you and I and we all play into making Tobago the greatest little island on the planet.
All right, and on that note, viewers, that's how we're going to have
time?
Yep, we're definitely out of time. That's how we're going to have to wrap this morning's interview. I want to thank you so much for being on with us. I know.
Can I make a little plug here?
Very short.
I am inviting you to our community open mic forum tomorrow from 7 p.m. at the Leketo Community Center. The Chief Secretary is going to be there. I'm going to have the Village Council Presidents there as well. I'm going to have some religious leaders there. We're going to have youth activists because we want you to come out and let your voices be heard. We have to take back our district from the arms of criminal elements, and I really want your attendance there. It's going to be valued.
All right. Yeah? Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Assemblyman Sarisha Hackett, viewers. I mean, you heard it. I mean, there is so much that we could have gotten into.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we always know.
I appreciate it, though. I really do.
Yes. Thank you for being here with us.
You're welcome.
All right. And yes, 1 year later, we're going through all of them. Tomorrow, Chanel Felix would take the reins, and she would have on set with her Mr. Nye. Very interesting discussion. So viewers, I want to thank you for being with us. We, of course, continue to appreciate your love and support. And we'll be back again at it tomorrow morning. So see you then.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise. Let's go. It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong.